Hello everyone, welcome to the online lecture of Vehicle Testing and Homologation. I am Milan Trivedi, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to start with our subject content. Our first topic in the Vehicle Testing and Homologation is the introduction. Basically in this introduction segment, we are going to discuss about the second later of our subject, that is homologation. We are going to discuss about that homologation part in detail about this particular topic. So let us have in this presentation outline that which are the topics which we are going to cover in this particular homologation. First, we are going to understand what is homologation. Second, we are going to understand why homologation is required. And thirdly, we are going to discuss about that homologation is required for imported cars or not. Let us start with the first topic then, that what is the homologation is. Homologation is actually the process of certifying that a particular car is roadworthy and matches certain specific criteria which is laid by the government for all the vehicles made or imported into that country. So from this particular definition itself, the idea is clear that for the imported cars also we are going to require this particular homologation process. But why it is required, that we are going to study in this outcome of this particular lecture. Let us have the outlook of how does this entire homologation process happens, as it is a process. So which are the different stages through which is actually required to pass, that we are going to understand. First of all, whatever the manufacturing unit is, that they will design or raise one proposal and will give that particular to the ministry. Now that ministry will review that particular design, that will allocate certain agency to do that testing part. If all these things are found okay in the design part, then they will issue the particular certificate. But this certificate is just for the design approval, that we are validating the design part of that particular automobile. They are not allowed to manufacture that, only design approval has been received. Now what, once this particular design aspect has been received, then that again will go to the particular applicant or the manufacturer. Now what this manufacturer will do, they will develop one prototype of that particular car, and they are also having the approval of the design. This design approval is based on the particular suggested height, weight, or the particular dimensions of the vehicle. If that has been underlined as per the design requirement, then only the approval has been given to the particular manufacturer. This approval and the prototype of the car will again go to this particular ministry. The ministry has given the power to the 7 different organizations in India. Basically, they are having ARAIs, AIRT, Northern Region Farm Machinery Training Testing Institute, Central Institute of Road Transport. Likewise, we are having different 7 testing organizations, and the 7 testing organizations that will perform different tests on the particular vehicle. And it is passing all the different tests, and all the test results are under the specific criteria, then only they are given this test type certificate, and later on they can go for the mass production. But right now, I want to emphasize on this particular testing part, that in this entire homologation process, which are the different tests which has been performed in the automobile. So let us have a look on that. The first test is about the exhaust gas evaluation. In India, we follow this Bharat stage norm. So right now, BS6 has been implemented. So in that particular criteria is there for these carbon monoxide level, carbon dioxide level, NOx emissions, particulate matter emissions, lead, this all this gases must be in the specific range. So this range has been decided by the government, and it has been updated from time to time. So this particular agency evaluate this, what is the exist gas constituent which is coming out from the vehicle, and if it is not following the guideline which is given by the government, then it would not be certified or will not be clear this particular homologation process. The second stage of testing is the noise level testing. In the automobile, we are having number of noise sources, whether it is the internal noise or the external noises. This all noise levels are also being justified. This sound unit is measured in the form of decibels. The decibel of different noise sources must be in a specific range, And if it is not following that particular specific range, then obviously the homologation certificate would not be issued. Most of the time what actually happens is the amount of noise which is generated by the vehicle is large enough that is not following these particular homologation norms, but they are using different noise damping devices, sound absorbing devices, by the help of which they can actually reduce the level of noise which has been coming out from the particular automobile. So the effective use of that can lead to the reduction of noise level. The third test normally performed in the field of automobile is the brake system testing. Basically, in most of the vehicle nowadays, we are using this disc and drum type of brake, but the proper working of that braking system need to be ensured, because it is a part of even a safety system. If it is malfunctioning somewhere, then it can lead to a major accident even. So we need to have a proper checking of this particular braking system, whether it is if it is using hydraulic brake, then the level of and the pressure of fluid is also required to be monitored at a very precise level. So that kind of testing has been done at this particular different testing organization. The fourth parameter which we are checking in the case of homologation is the headlamp. Again, headlamp also lies under this safety system of the automobile. Normally, at the night travel, we need to have a proper visibility. The intensity of the light must be of proper level. The span of the light must be of proper angle. So all that dimensions part has been monitored in this particular homologation process. Normally it is a very simple process. We are going to learn about this even headlamp alignment process in the 7th chapter of vehicle testing and homologation. But right now I want to emphasize that in the homologation testing part, we are doing the testing of this particular headlamp. The next they are checking is about the turning circle diameter. This is actually indicative of how much area is required in order to turn the vehicle. In brief, I would like to just cover this turning circle diameter definition. This is just a circle which is generated when we steer extremely towards left or right, and the circle which is plotted with the help of the outer circle of the wheels, that diameter of that particular circle is nothing but it is a turning circle diameter, and it is an indicative of how much area is required, minimum area is required in order to turn the vehicle, right? So that is also one indicative parameter, and all the manufacturing industry of the automobiles required to mention this TCD value. So this has also been tested at the homologation. No doubt we can have a calculation of this particular TCD, but at this testing level, they are actually physically checking this particular turning circle diameter. The next aspect they check is for the speed measurement, that indicative speed on the dial is actually proper or not. We need to have certain calibration on that particular dial gauges as well. And if it is nowadays we are having digital odometers, then on all that we need to have a proper calibration, because if there is a deviation in that particular measuring instrument as well, then also it can lead to accident. So that part is also being checked under the homologation. Lastly, I would like to cover is about the tire condition. The tire which is used in this particular automobile, the trade of the tire, the design of the tire trade, the longevity of the tire, the carcass which has been used, the maintenance which has been required, all that part would be just calibrated and tested at this particular homologation process. So that's all about this particular homologation word. Now let us go towards that why homologation is required. Once we are doing this testing of this particular vehicle at different level, we actually receives one thing, that we ensure that the vehicle matches the requirement of the market in terms of emission and the safety as per the central motor vehicle rules. This emission and the safety level is being ensured with the help of this particular homologation. Now, let us understand whether we require the homologation for the imported cars or not. Say, for example, in India, we are manufacturing Tata Indica. So, that is very much obvious to have a homologation process of the domestic car. But in India, we are actually importing one car, Ford Mondeo. So whether we require to go for the homologation of this imported car, or it is already been homologated in their origin country. So why we need to have a expense of homologation again in our country? Why we need to go for this particular homologation of imported car? This is required because the emission norms of different countries are different. The first condition. The second, the road conditions are different. Let us take one simple example. In the Ford car, in most of the vehicle, you will find that the ground clearance is very much less, because in foreign countries might be the speed breakers are differently designed. In India, we are having a different condition. So at the different countries, we are having different road conditions, different emission levels, criteria. So that parameters differ. So in the different country, we need to have a rehomologation. We are still importing that vehicle, but we need to have a criteria that in our country that will work okay or not. So that has been tested under this particular homologation part. Next topic comes about is the costing of the homologation. Normally in India, particularly one car, if it has been homologated, then it is costing about 10 to 15 lakh rupees, right? But it always differs as per certain even variation. This is just a normal or average range of costing. The next question you might have is that how much time duration does it take in order to homologate that particular vehicle? Once the homologation agency is receiving the vehicle, they are charging around 10 to 15 lakh rupees, but they are doing this different testing. So how much time duration does it take in order to complete the entire homologation testing process? Normally in India, we are having this 3 month time duration, but it is not fixed. In some of the case, if the vehicle is having certain variation, then that particular testing organization is actually required to develop certain testing rig in order to have that particular testing criteria. So in some of the case, it might even take more than 3 months. If I take just one example of Daimler Chrysler C220, then it had taken time duration of even 7 months. So 3 months is an average criteria, but in some of the case it might take more time duration, and that has been justified also. So that's all about this first introduction of this homologation word. We are keeping up to this. Finally, thanks for watching.